The Man in the Vent, Part 1. I used to rent a basement apartment in a quiet suburban neighbourhood outside Chicago. It was cheap, which should have been the first red flag. My landlord, an older woman named Mrs. Halpin, lived in the main house above me. She was always kind, but kind of nosy in that overly involved retired schoolteacher way. She lived alone. No kids, no pets. Just her and her endless garden of tomato plants and gnomes. The apartment itself was modest. A single bedroom, a cramped kitchen, and one of those bathrooms where the shower is almost on top of the toilet. It was mostly underground, save for two small rectangular windows just beneath the ceiling that peeked out at ground level. I didn't mind the lack of sunlight. I liked the quiet. Or at least I used to. The first time I felt something was off, it was so small, I almost didn't notice it. It was a Thursday night. I'd come home late from a bartending shift, dead tired. I heated up some leftover pasta, and as I sat on the couch eating, I thought I heard something shuffle above me. Now, this wasn't unusual. Mrs. Halpin was a night owl, and often moved around up there at all hours. But this sound felt different, slower, more deliberate. It wasn't footsteps, it was more like something being dragged. I paused the TV and listened. Silence. I figured maybe she was moving furniture or had dropped something. But that night, I had a dream. A man was crouched in the far corner of my bedroom, eyes wide and unblinking. I couldn't move, couldn't scream, just stare back at him as he breathed heavily in the shadows. I jolted awake at 3:17 a.m. drenched in sweat. My room was empty, of course, but the dream had felt oppressively real. The next morning, while brushing my teeth, I noticed something strange. The metal vent in the bathroom, one of those old square ones with slats, was slightly ajar. I hadn't touched it. It was always screwed in. I crouched down, pulled it off, and shined my phone flashlight into the dark duct. It was empty, just a narrow metal shaft running into blackness. But I couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching me from within it. That whole day at work, I kept replaying that image in my head. A man in my room, not standing, crouching. The next incident was worse. I'd gotten into the habit of triple checking my locks before bed. One night, maybe a week later, I came home around 11 p.m. and found the deadbolt was already locked from the inside, which was impossible. I always left it unlocked when I left, and there's only one door. My stomach dropped. I opened the door slowly, key still in hand, every part of me expecting someone to jump out at me. But the apartment was empty, lights off, no sign of entry. Except one thing, the vent in the kitchen, just like the one in the bathroom, was hanging loosely. That's when I went upstairs and knocked on Mrs. Halpin's door. She answered in her robe, her hair in curlers, looking more annoyed than concerned. I think someone might be getting into my apartment. She blinked at me. That's ridiculous. Those vents aren't big enough for a person. You're probably dreaming again. That night, I barricaded the vent with a stack of heavy cookbooks and wedged a chair under the doorknob. I fell asleep with a baseball bat beside my bed. It didn't help. At 2:54 a.m. I woke up again. Not because of a nightmare, because I heard breathing. Slow, ragged, shallow breathing, coming from the direction of the kitchen. I sat up and held my breath. But then I heard a creak, the kind that only happens when someone steps on the loose board near the fridge. This time, I didn't move. I didn't even turn my head. Then I heard it, the scrape of fingernails against the wall. I waited until the sun rose before I dared move. When I finally got the courage to leave my bedroom, everything was in its place, but someone had left something behind. On the kitchen counter, neatly placed beside the sink, was a single silver button, like the kind from an old pea coat. I don't own a coat like that. Follow for more stories coming soon.